We'll talk all about Solana. Not too much fundamentally has changed, but Solana is nearing the previous all-time high now, reaching $240 as of this morning. And the previous all-time high is just in sight at 265-ish. If you guys have been following my stance, I've been telling people that you want to focus on the large caps when everyone were jumping the gun too quickly into altcoins that are much smaller in market cap. So I think this is a really positive sign that the alt season is in full swing and it's going to continue. So in today's video, we will not only cover Solana's current price action, price targets that I have for the end of the year and for next year, and I'll also give you some perspective on altcoin season and why I have kept believing that this is altcoin season ever since mid-August. Every time I got this question asked, I told people, you just need to wait. You just need to hold your large cap altcoins and they're all going to pump. And so far it has played out exactly like I expected. Really nice. And now finally people are waking up because somehow the altcoin season index tells them that it's altcoin season when it's already been so for 6 weeks now. Right after that, we'll also cover the few altcoins that I believe will pump shortly after Solana, because they always do, as they are very related to Solana in similar narratives. And we have seen the same type of rotation happen before. Okay, that's on the agenda for today. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments and we will do a Q&A at the very end. So let's get right into it. And let's start off with the Solana price action, as it is currently trading at $241. I don't have the trade setup that I showed you guys last time, but really quick update. I have had our Sol swing bot that we opened when Solana was at $177. This was opened on August 19th. This was right after we made the call that it's the time to go heavy into large cap altcoins because altcoin season was starting. And we have all of those logs right here that you can follow. This was the initial position that we put into on August 19th. And so far, it's doing quite good. This kind of a strategy, because it layers in your buys and sells, it's just going to do its thing. So very soon, Solana is going to hit our year-end target of $260 that I have set on the bot. Once that hits, I'll give you guys a clear update as well. I don't think it's going to blast past the previous all-time high above 260, 270 very easily, just like Ethereum did when it reached the previous all-time high at 48.50. It was very slow. So you look at ETH, previous all-time high 48.60. Right around here, our bot took profit, and I just started to enter back in once it made these corrections back down. Similar thing probably will happen on Solana. So once it gets to around 260, I would like to close the bot and wait for it to come back down and maybe 10-15% below the previous all-time high before making the next move. So I don't think you should expect something too crazy here immediately where it just like shoots up towards 300. Highly unlikely, especially given that this is not only the recent highs here on Solana, but also it's the previous all-time high from November 2021. So a lot of resistance around these ranges, around 260 to 270. I don't think you need to be too aggressive here trying to buy Solana right now. Yes, Solana is going to head higher next year as long as the bull market continues, but it will take time. I think there are better plays in terms of ROI at the moment once Solana hits 260. Okay, so that's roughly the immediate actions that I'm taking. If you just want to follow my exact entries and exits, just use the bots. The bot is going to continue holding and slowly selling until it reaches 260, and then it will go into stables. And then once it comes back down, gets a probably a rejection from the previous all-time high, then I will look to re-enter the bot again, maybe with a slightly higher price range, where we will move the lower range up from $155, which was this low right here, to whatever the next low may be. So let's say if it does something like this, okay, then we can move it up here. I'm not sure exactly what that will look like yet. First, we have to get there for the retest of the previous all-time high. Okay, so alt season. Solana is not going to be an exclusive runner of the current move. Way too many people still think it's this way. It's one of the worst mentalities to have in this stage of the bull run. So if you guys remember when ETH started to pump, okay, so when ETH started to make this move up right here, a lot of people were weirdly calling this ETH season instead of alt season. And I made this very public on stream, on video, and on X, that ETH season was never a thing. It was stupid to call it this because yes, ETH was leading the charge as ETH BTC has been going up in an uptrend on daily and weekly, but Bitcoin dominance has been trending down. And if you have been following our live streams, as I have been putting out live updates on this exact chart right here, where we have the 50-week SMA on the Bitcoin dominance and the consistent downtrend now that it has been showing over the last 1.5 months, it has been alt season. I have been telling you guys that it is alt season. Here is the exact timeline. Okay, so back in here, we first outlined that you need to see Bitcoin dominance break down into a weekly downtrend and avoid being potentially a trap like back here. It needs to break below the 50-week SMA and show a weekly downtrend. This was end of July, and we made this video, I believe, like July 25th-ish. And then when Bitcoin dominance reached the 50-week SMA, I made this video right here. You see this was a live stream, July 31st, where it was bouncing from the 50-week SMA. And I told people, okay, if it bounces from here, it needs to really not show a higher high and higher low. Instead, it needs to actually close below the 50-week SMA. That was the key. So that's when I was still staying patient. And then shortly after that, on August 8th, 9 days later, we had this candle where Bitcoin dominance closed the week below the 50-week SMA. So I was telling people, okay, as long as this next weekly close is below 60.5%, that is a clear sign that altcoin season is starting, because this is literally what altcoin season is, Bitcoin dominance macro downtrend. And I told people, wait for this, okay, August 8th. And then finally, on August 13th, when the weekly candle closed, you see right here, I gave the clear confirmation that Bitcoin dominance has confirmed the weekly downtrend. And it's not only below the 50-week SMA and weekly lower highs and lower lows. This was alt season. And I made this video of how to prepare for the alt season. And shortly after that, I put the 100K trading challenge up. And in here, I literally bought up the top 10 largest altcoins because they all run first when altcoin season starts. This was exactly 1 month ago, August 13th. We're on September 12th today. I don't know why people are just starting to catch up. And if you are still saying that Solana is an outlier here, where, oh, like Solana is going to pump while everything else does not, you are delusional. We have been in an altcoin season. Anyone that has been shorting any altcoins has been wrecked in the past month. It doesn't get clearer than this. Yes, like people were saying, oh, ETH was going up by itself and this was ETH season, although that was, looking back at last month, this was stupid of a call. Anyone that said it's ETH exclusive got proven wrong because all other alts started pumping. And now, it doesn't get clearer than this. Bitcoin dominance continues to go down week after week. And we even have the altcoin season indices actually triggering now. So by a 3 months time frame, 75% of the top 100 altcoins have been outperforming Bitcoin as of yesterday. So by all of the altcoin season indices indicators, it is altcoin season. This one on CoinMarketCap, this one on CoinGlass, and this one on Blockchain Center Net. I think this is probably the most accurate. I like this one the best because it also gives you per month and per year, and you see how it its first altcoin months and then 2 altcoin months consecutively, and then when you have the 3rd altcoin month in a row, that's altcoin season because that's a whole seasonal quarter. It's confirmed now. Anyone that tells you still that, oh, it's not altcoin season, you got to be careful, is delusional. It's ridiculous. Don't listen to them. It's insane. Yes, you don't want to go full degen into low caps because it rotates, okay? Even my guide that I have put out, that a lot of people have watched now, almost 200K views, I specifically tell people that altcoin season means that large cap altcoins are going to run first, and it very slowly rotates into low caps. So that's why currently I'm still in the top 20 large cap alts in my trading challenge in my portfolio as well. So that's good. That's a good insight, but it doesn't mean it's not altcoin season. It's as clear as it gets. You don't want to short anything. You want to stay bullish and you want to be heavily allocated to altcoins. This has been what I have been doing. Okay, so keep that at the back of your head. I think this is the most important thing I want you guys to take away. It's not exclusive to Solana. You don't have to only trade Solana, otherwise you're going to miss out. Okay, all other alts are going to pump. Since we covered this whole flip from Bitcoin dominance into an alt season, we have already had BNB reach previous all-time high. Now Solana's close to the all-time high. Ethereum already reached the all-time high. Doge is starting to pump a lot, up 26% this week. Hyperliquid made new all-time high. Chainlink continues to pump. It doesn't get clearer than that. So takeaway here, okay, for anyone that's not as experienced as from previous altcoin cycles, here is the main takeaway I want to give you as a action point. So when in altcoin season, you don't need to specifically ask, like, look, Solana is pumping 20% right now. This week, what altcoin can I buy today that's going to pump tomorrow? That kind of a rotation, nobody knows that exact. Instead, what you want to do is you start from a whole basket of large caps. In my case, I'm right around the top 20 altcoins is my main focus right now. And you look at which ones haven't pumped and which ones are still relevant. And you use a safer strategy to accumulate them, whether that's DCA, whether that's buying a bit every day, or whether that's using trading bots, whatever. And then you actually hold them. At some point, they will all pump. For most people, this is going to be the best strategy for you. Because especially when things are moving fast, way too many people get burned because they have this weird mindset that since it's altcoin season, you have to be even more crazy with rotations. And then when Solana pumps, you need to buy one altcoin with 10x leverage for the pump, and then you go into the next one for a 10x pump. Nobody is able to do that. Instead, it actually requires even more patience and sticking with our original thesis, which is, going by the blue chips. Don't jump into low caps right away. I think that's probably going to be the most important thing to remember before we head into some of the fundamental stuff, because over these next few months, assuming Bitcoin trends up, okay, it breaks above 120k and it goes towards 130, 140, whatever. Bitcoin dominance continues to trend down. What you will start to see is all kinds of different narratives come up. ETFs, okay, there's going to be a ton of ETFs that get approved in October and November. I'm going to show you the full list. And you're going to have treasury companies for all of these different coins. You're going to have like different narratives of AI, things coming back. And you are going to start kidding yourself and think that your specific altcoin's fundamentals is driving it. When in reality, it's really just the market going up together. And all of the main projects, they save their news for these moments. And even for the Solana news we're going to cover today, I don't think they matter that much. That only applies to Solana, because like ETFs, Solana will have its ETF approved quite soon, most likely next month, but so will 8 other alts get approved by the end of this year. Similarly, for treasury companies, yes, Solana has pretty big digital asset treasury stocks that's getting listed on the NASDAQ, but so are other altcoins. You don't want to get caught up in these fundamentals per se, because they're all the same. At least in these blue chip categories, whatever applies to Solana in terms of ETF and treasuries will for sure apply to XRP, and later on apply to things like Link or BNB or Dogecoin, Litecoin, whatever. So don't get caught up in the fundamentals as much and thinking that oh look, like Solana has digital asset treasury companies now, so I have to buy Solana. And then next week, the same thing happens for XRP, and then you jump into XRP at a high price. And then the week after that, you jump into Dogecoin at a high price. That's what gets you wrecked in this market. You want to look at value first. You want to look at which coins haven't pumped, and know that these fundamentals, they're mostly just noise now. All the fundamentals are going to come out together because the market overall is good. Okay, that's a big caveat before we go into some of the bullish catalysts for Solana that's getting announced right now. So let's get into it. The big news around Solana this week has been the digital asset treasury companies, the DATs, the DATs. Namely, the biggest one has been this thing called, what is this called? This is called Forward Industries. So Forward Industries has closed $1.65 billion of private placement as a DAT for Solana. Basically, Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Trading has been the main front-facing person for this. He's going on interviews similar to Tom Lee for BitMine, for Ethereum. There's also Kyle Samani from Multicoin. Now, this at its current stage is a little bit different from the treasury companies for Ethereum, for example, because Forward Industries, when they raised these $1.65 billion, yes, this is a cash raise to buy Solana and put it into this vehicle. However, all of these funds raised are from crypto investors, are from crypto VCs, large funds that also have a very large interest in the success of Solana. So first of all, Galaxy is the largest buyer of FTX estate bankruptcy deals of discounted Solana. If you guys don't remember from 2 years ago. So FTX offloads giant Solana pile in sale, drawing the two largest buyers are Galaxy and Pantera Capital, which are both crypto giant firms, but crypto native firms. And it just so happens that Galaxy is the main one leading this Forward Industries company, and Michael Novogratz has disclosed that Pantera Capital is also launching a Solana fund treasury company. So it just makes sense, right? Obviously, these guys have large bags. They want to raise more to double down on Solana. Some people are saying, oh, this is just them trying to offload their holdings. This has been disproven. This is actually a cash raise. But still, all of these cash are being raised from these crypto native funds. Galaxy Jump is also one of the largest partners to Solana since the beginning, and Multicoin. Multicoin is the largest VC firm that has backed Solana since the seed round in the very beginning. And also, you look at all the firms and companies participating here, all these angel investors, these are all crypto natives. And all the firms, the only, honestly, one that I don't recognize are these guys, Gratitude Asset Management Asia. I don't know if this is a crypto native firm, but everyone else is crypto native. I recognize all these names. So I mentioned this because it's very nice to have $1.65 billion of money raised to buy Solana. Sure. And this is a very sexy brand that's on NASDAQ, that the world's leading Solana Treasury company that people can use to buy and gain exposure to Solana. But what they need to do next and prove themselves with is by raising more capital, by selling equity to buy more. And that has to come from traditional investors, TradFi investors. This is the large feat that these Ethereum treasury companies have been able to do. When you look at BitMine, the that's led by Tom Lee, BitMine has expanded their equity offering by as much as $20 billion. And these are not crypto native. They are literally selling equity to TradFi investors with the purpose of buying ETH. So this is real TradFi demand, which is a much larger pile. We need to see what the Solana treasury companies can do next. They need to do similar types of deals. When that happens, that's going to be really bullish. So far, it hasn't happened yet. It's still within the crypto circle itself. These are some of the largest funds in crypto together to buy Solana. Very good, but it's still crypto native. Next, we need to see it expand to real Wall Street. Okay, so somewhere you can track this is on CoinGecko. I just discovered this today. CoinGecko has a treasuries tracking dashboard where you can track Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana digital asset treasury company holdings and their net asset value compared to their market cap. So now there's a new tab for Solana. And what's interesting here is the total value in USD held by the digital asset treasury companies compared to the total market cap of the coin. So for Ethereum, that's $15.9 billion held in these stats, accounting for 2.85% of total ETH market cap. For Solana, excluding this new offering, that's at 1.58 billion, totaling 1.21% of the supply. After this filing closes, this will just about double, which brings it just under 2.5% of total Solana market cap held by digital asset treasury companies. So this will be quite in line with the percentage held by Ethereum DATs. This is already quite good. Next, we need to see both of these percentages start to grow. And that has to come from TradFi, has to come from the ability for forward industries, for Galaxy Digital, Jump, Multicoin, for Chaos Money, for Mike Novogratz to literally pitch the Solana internet capital markets narrative to Wall Street. And how many people will actually buy in, we don't know yet. But this is the next step. So something to look forward to if you're a Solana bull. Okay, I also want to cover a little bit about ETFs. So there is this new filing that has just come out on August 28th that actually this research came out on August 28th, but by July 30th, there has been a new process being proposed together with CBOE, NASDAQ, and NYSE to fast track the listing of digital asset or crypto ETFs. Specifically, they want to shorten the approval period of crypto ETFs from the initial filing stage to the final deadline to approval from 240 days to, I believe, 90 days, if I'm not mistaken. Either 90 or 60 days. Where is the... I'm pretty sure it's 60 days. But it's going to shorten it from 8 months to under 3 months for new crypto ETFs. If your coin qualifies as one of these 3 conditions. So number 1, it has to be trading on markets that are ISG members. So this condition doesn't really matter because only Bitcoin and Ethereum applies, and both Bitcoin and Ethereum have spot ETFs already. Second is they need to be listed on a US-based futures contract exchange for 6 months, trading for minimum 6 months. The main one that qualifies for this is Coinbase derivatives. And this means 12 tokens fit into this criteria to have expedited ETF approvals. These are Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Link, Stellar Lumens, AVAX, SHIB, Polkadot, Solana, Hedera HBAR, XRP, Cardano. Okay? And 9 of these 12 tokens have outstanding ETF applications. And it just so happens that their latest deadlines are coming up quite soon. So the current list of crypto ETFs in the US is massive. Okay, this is the latest that I found coming from the Bloomberg expert analyst, James Seyfarth. And this is on August 28th, 2 weeks ago. So there are currently 92 line items in the backlog at the SEC. And if you zoom in here, let's first of all focus on Solana. So all the Solana spot ETFs you see from Grayscale, VanEck, 21 Shares, etc., most of them have deadlines in between October 10th to November 14th. Most of them are October 10th and October 16th. These are the final deadlines. So next month, Solana ETFs, Solana spot ETFs will come. Okay, most likely this is going to happen. However, this is not exclusive to Solana like I was saying in the beginning, because look at the XRP ETFs, they are all around the same week as well. And the Doge ETF, we have the HBAR ETF, the final deadlines are about in November. Then shortly after that, we will have Polkadot, AVAX, Chainlink. Basically, all of these expedited fast track ETF candidates will get to have their ETF approvals like month after month, starting from October. There's going to be a huge amount of ETF hype. Don't get blinded by these. When they happen, they will all come. Starting from October. Each month, you're going to hear something new about like institution adopting one of these main coins and their ETFs coming out. You know, you don't have to exclusively buy that coin because this is basically the new normal. Okay, just something to be aware of. Not saying any of these coins are bad. In fact, I have currently most of these coins because they are in the top 20s. I think all of them will pump eventually, but you don't want to bet too heavily on any single one of them because nobody really knows what the exact order is going to be when each one starts rallying. Just something to be aware of there. Okay, so that's on the ETFs. Finally, let's look at the next ones that are likely to pump after Solana. Again, I don't have exclusive positions in these three altcoins. Okay, I just want to tell you, I have 2 open right now on the trading bots, on the challenge and in my portfolio, but I also have others. But just based on previous cycles and what people perceive the Solana narrative will be, these are most likely to come next. So you probably already know from the thumbnail of this video, they're very obvious. Right after Solana starts pumping, you want to start from the very top of altcoin rankings. Between that top 20-ish rankings, there are 2 altcoins that really stand out that are very closely related to Solana. And they are Sui and AVAX. These are 2 of the leading hyper-scalable blockchains that people always associate with as a Solana competitor, Solana killer. Let's talk about Sui first. So Sui is this ultra affordable, hyper fast, scalable blockchain. And it even uses the Rust programming language. And it's backed by very similar VCs, very similar funds. Jump is big in this. A lot of the early Solana whales, a lot of them back this very early days. And the Move programming language is literally based on Rust, which is the same programming language that Solana uses for smart contracts. A lot of their infra are also the same. Look at Phantom wallet, Soulflare wallet. Most of these things support Solana and Sui. That's because their stacks are very similar. They're also going after very similar markets when it comes to trading things on chain, tokenizing stock markets, etc. So Sui, I have currently a position already as a trading bot that you can find on the link in my bio, on the description, and on the dashboard right here. So far, so good. It's already starting to catch a bid following the pump on Solana. It's up 8% this week. I think it's going to catch up. If you want a specific layer 1 that's very similar to Solana, look at Sui. The next one is AVAX. AVAX, exact same scenario. It even dates back to last cycle because AVAX was around for a longer time before Sui. Ever since 2020 and 2021, AVAX has tried to copy everything that Solana does. Okay, when it comes to DeFi, NFTs, on-chain trading, all the narratives, it's always the same. Even the gaming narrative, they were all pushing together. So last time that we covered this rotation from Solana to AVAX was in 2024, I believe, right here. So you see Altseason where XRP, ADA, Cardano were pumping, and we were covering AVAX. And even before that, way back, I think this was even like late 2023, when Solana started to pump in the very early, altcoin rotations, AVAX followed suit right after. So this is a very easy trade, in my opinion. And it's just so happens that on our last live stream, right here, I just opened a AVAX position. I believe it's the top one right here. So I opened it 4 days ago at 25.50. And currently the price is already starting to break up at 28.50. So looking at the AVAX chart, that's this right here. So this is actually a TA that we did from the last live stream where we were looking at the resistance right here at $26 and it just broke above. So still not too late to jump into AVAX because we're targeting $55 as a year-end target. As long as Solana pumps, AVAX always follows. Typically, when the market is good, this is what happens. The last one that I don't have a position yet in is Aptos. Aptos specifically is interesting because it's very similar to Sui. They come from the same team from Facebook's Libra. They use the same programming language, the Move stack, which means all the infra that supports Solana and Sui can technically support AVAX, can support Aptos. And Aptos has been relatively under the radar because they have been developing a lot of RWA initiatives. As my friend Crypto Ken has pointed out, Aptos has been quietly building under the radar, specifically around tokenization, around RWAs. When you look at RWA XYZ, this is something that I keep coming back to. The total value locked on Aptos is among one of the highest. But when people bridge their funds over between chains, where do they bridge into Aptos from? Very important, they tend to bridge from Sui and Solana. That's what's required to associate Aptos to the pump in Solana and in Sui. So I think Aptos is probably going to be one of the main coins I look at. Once these ones start to already have pumped, this is definitely something that's very closely related to Solana and Sui. You don't need to buy Sui and AVAX exclusively, okay? Look at the things we have mentioned over the last month. We first covered BNB, where we covered it here, we covered it here, we covered whenever we talked about altcoin season, because BNB was heavily undervalued compared to Bitcoin. And BNB is already pumping, reaching new all-time high as we speak, day by day. We talked about, Hyperliquid, right? Hyperliquid, even though I'm not a huge fan, to be fair, because I think it's pretty high valuation now, it's at all-time high. And you look at Chainlink, okay? Chainlink is still a great buy because I expect it to reach previous all-time high around, what was it, like $51, I want to say, by the end of the year. So we are still about a 2x to go. And what's important here, even Doge, okay? So Hyperliquid, BNB, Solana, Doge, Chainlink, these are all unrelated coins with each other. And then on top of that, you already have Ethereum reaching previous all-time high. So the takeaway here is you don't really need to think too hard in this stage of the market. As long as you follow my guide and you agree with it, and you look at these top 20 coins at the moment, all of them should pump at some point. Even if they're not in the same narrative, they will all pump. This week, it's Solana Digital Asset Treasury Company. Next week, maybe XRP has some sort of news with Ripple going IPO or something. And then the week after that, maybe Chainlink does something like what they have done with RWA. BlackRock is looking to tokenize. Maybe they announce a partnership with Chainlink. Who knows? That will pump Chainlink. All of these things will come together. But that doesn't mean your coin is exclusively going to pump. It just means each of these is taking their time. You need patience. Okay, so that's why I have basically positions in all of the ones that are worth having in the top 20s, as I have outlined in my trading strategy, in my trading bots, in my portfolio. That's the best way to tackle the market at the moment. You don't want to think too hard in the specific altcoin you need to buy. It's much more important to get these things, stay patient, look at which ones haven't pumped. Right now, among the top 20s, I would say Cardano still hasn't pumped. It will pump at some point, okay? XRP and Stellar hasn't moved, and Hedera haven't moved for a while. They're all going to move together, okay? You have AVAX and Sui haven't moved as much as Solana. They're going to move quite soon. You want to think about value first instead of thinking about narrative or news. None of that really matters as much because we are in altcoin season. So that's a little bit of takeaway. And get this, as all of the indicators are confirming altcoin season now, some people will still say that this is not altcoin season. It's just exclusive to Solana. My counter argument is this, okay? Among the top 100 altcoins on CoinMarketCap, how many of them are related to Solana? We all know Sui, AVAX are going to pump with Solana, okay? We have all the memes on Solana. For example, WIF, Bonk. We have now Pump Fun, Pudgy Penguins. These are all Solana native coins. They're all pumping. Like look at the Solana ecosystem tab here on CoinMarketCap. Okay, Pudgy Penguins, Pump Fun, Bonk, Jupiter, the main decentralized exchange on Solana, Radium, Dog with Hat, Fartcoin. These are all Jito. These are all exclusive to Solana. All of these are pumping. Okay, so can you really say that, what is this, like 8 coins out of the top 100 are going to move together with Solana as the Solana pumps? Is this still just a Solana season? No, it's not, because by definition, Altcoin season tracks top 100 coins, and 8 out of the top 100 coins are moving together with Solana. So that's already 8 of them outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, and then think about what happens next. If Ethereum makes a new all-time high, what's going to happen with Ethereum ecosystem? You have like Chainlink, Ethena, you have like Uniswap, Aave, Mantle, PayPay, all of Ethereum Classic, all of these coins are related to Ethereum. They're going to move with Ethereum as well as it makes a new all-time high. So then that's another 10 coins out of the top 100 that starts outperforming Bitcoin. And then maybe you have Chainlink pump, then all the RWA coins are going to move. Or if you have BNB, then Pancake, all the BNB ecosystem coins are going to move. Or you have XRP start to pump, then Stellar, Hedera, Algorand, XDC, you know the drill. Like all the similar coins are going to move. So crypto is all narrative together. And even within the top 10, top 15 coins, these are all different narratives. If Dogecoin pumps a lot, Shiba Inu is going to pump. And PayPay is going to pump. Floki. My point here is you can't just keep saying that it's Ethereum season when not only Ethereum pumps, but 10 Ethereum altcoins also pump. And then Solana goes up, and then 8 Solana altcoins pump. That is altcoin season by definition, because these are all top 100 coins. What more confirmation do you need? It would be weird, of course, if only Solana goes up 20% while Jupiter goes down, and then all the Solana ecosystem goes down. Then that's a different question. But clearly, at the moment, it's narrative pump. Ethereum narrative goes, Solana narrative goes, XRP narrative goes, and then you have like Dogecoin meme narrative going, RWA narrative going. This is classic altcoin season. Stop kidding yourself and saying this is not altcoin season and it's exclusive to one coin. It's not. Anyone that still says that, just maybe they have PTSD or they're just not opening their eyes. So we are clearly in altcoin season, and you want to be exposed to altcoins. Sure, you don't want to take very low cap exposure. I'm not doing that, but you do want to hold large cap alts and hold them dearly because they're all going to go up quite soon. Okay, I think that's the best course of action for most people right now. Make sure to follow me on X at VirtualBacon0x for the day-to-day alpha and updates on the trading bots, the new bots that I'm opening, the price ranges for support resistance, take profits, and check out our bots that have currently been, I'm actually doing pretty good on this, up 21% on the 100K trading challenge. You can find all the links of the bots to copy, their settings, and the update logs with the link in my bio, as well as a full tutorial to learn how to use these. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for joining the live stream, and I will see you on the next one and the next video.